This day in time. What happened today, years ago?
Welcome to the deep dive. So what we do here is take a whole stack of sources, articles, research notes, and basically we dig through it all.
Yeah, we find the most important bits, the surprising stuff, the insights you need.
Exactly. So you don't have to wade through everything yourself. We're trying to get right to the core.
And today, we've zeroed in on one specific date, June 6th.
That's right.
Yeah.
And looking through this particular stack, what really jumped out at us was how June 6th, in totally different years, hosted these three incredibly different kinds of events.
Yeah, really different. We're talking a huge natural disaster, a really pivotal moment in a world war.
Right.
And, well, something much lighter, something fun, really, for everyday life.
It's just fascinating, isn't it? How these completely unconnected moments in history are linked just by, well, the calendar.
It really makes you think about the sheer range of natural forces, human actions that can happen on the very same day, just, separated by time and place. Let's get into what the sources told us.
Okay, let's unpack this. So first stop, June 6th, 1912. Our sources take us way up to Alaska, nature doing something. Pretty astonishing.
Oh, absolutely. June 6, 1912, that's when the Novarupta eruption started. And the sources are clear. This was one of the biggest volcanic events of the whole 20th century.
One of the largest. Wow. Okay, so what did the stack say about, the scale, the immediate effects?
The details are pretty incredible. You had this ash plume shooting up, 30 kilometers right into the atmosphere?
30 kilometers, that's huge.
Yeah, and the immediate fallout was dramatic, especially nearby Kodiak, the town. The sky there apparently went pitch black, like midnight, for 60 hours straight.
Whoa, wait, 60 hours of complete darkness, just from ash.
That's what the sources describe. Imagine how unsettling, terrifying that must have been.
Unbelievable. It must have just changed everything instantly.
It did. And we also found out that the pressure from the magma driving the Novarupta eruption was so intense it actually caused the summit of Mount Katmai nearby to collapse.
Really? It collapsed a whole mountain peak.
Formed a huge caldera, a massive crater. And the eruption itself created this almost otherworldly landscape they now call the Valley of 10,000 Smokes.
Why that name?
Because of all the steam and gas just rising from the ground everywhere like smokes.
So the local impact was obviously devastating. Did these sources mention wider effects beyond Alaska?
Yes, definitely. Globally, there was a noticeable dip in average temperatures for a while, sort of a volcanic winter effect, scientists call it.
Right.
And closer to home, tragically, it meant the local Sugpiaq people were forced off their ancestral lands for good. But it also, interestingly, drew a lot of scientists, became a major site for studying, the Earth's raw power.
It really just underscores that power, doesn't it? Nature's indifference, almost.
Yeah.
One event, June 6th, 1912. Darkening skies, changing temperatures globally.
It's a stark reminder, we focus on human history, but these geological forces, they operate on a whole different timescale and magnitude.
Okay, so speaking of human history, let's jump forward now, quite a few decades. From nature's power, the stack shifts dramatically. June 6th, 1944, the focus is now war.
Right. June 6th, 1944. A date etched into history. D-Day. The beginning of Operation Overlord, the huge Allied invasion.
And the sources describe this as, one of the biggest, most complex military operations ever, right?
That's exactly right. The goal was this enormous amphibious landing hitting the beaches in Normandy, France, straight into heavily fortified German defenses.
Those beaches.
Yeah.
The sources named them specifically.
Yes, the 5 main landing zones, Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juneau, and Sword. And the material we looked at really emphasized Omaha Beach, called it the bloodiest, gives you a sense of the resistance they faced there.
I can only imagine. The planning to coordinate something on that scale,
yeah,
it must have been just immense.
Oh, completely meticulous, every logistical detail, timing. But crucially, our sources also highlight the deception involved.
Deception, how so?
Well, sophisticated tactics, things like fake armies, misleading radio signals, all designed to make the Germans unsure about the real target, where and when the main blow would land.
Clever. And by the end of that day, that incredibly long, brutal June 6th, what was the result on the ground?
Well, despite truly fierce resistance and very heavy casualties, especially, like we said, on Omaha, the Allied forces did succeed. They secured those vital beachheads by the end of the day.
And its importance goes way beyond just getting troops ashore, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The sources stress that D-Day wasn't just, a tactical success. It was the crucial first step. It laid the foundation needed to eventually liberate Western Europe from Nazi occupation.
So it became a symbol.
A powerful one. It still is. A symbol of incredible courage, immense sacrifice, and just that sheer determination of nations fighting for freedom.
So on one June 6th, we see the planet's power literally changing the land. On another June 6th, human will, conflict, sacrifice, changing the course of history on a massive scale.
Two huge forces, nature and humanity, both making their mark on the same calendar date.
Okay, now, get ready for a total shift in tone. We're changing gears again.
Okay.
One more June 6th event, this time 1933. Much smaller scale, much lighter, something that brought simple joy.
Yeah, this one's quite different. We're talking about the opening of the world's very first drive-in movie theater.
In New Jersey, right? That's what the stack said. What's the story behind it?
It's actually a really sweet, simple story. The idea came from a guy named Richard Hollingshead Jr., and the sources say his motivation was quite personal.
Oh, yeah.
He wanted to find a comfortable way for his mother to watch movies. Apparently, she found traditional theater seats uncomfortable for long stretches.
Oh, that's lovely. Just trying to help his mom. So how did it work back then, technically?
Well, initially, the sound wasn't like we might imagine. They used these big outdoor speakers placed around the lot. But the sources mention it got much better later when they introduced individual speakers you could hang on your car window or put inside. That became the classic setup.
Right, I remember those.
Yeah.
And it just took off, didn't it? Became a real part of American culture.
It really did. For decades, the drive-in was, well, it was iconic. A place for families, for teenagers on dates, watching movies under the stars from your car, usually with popcorn, of course.
Such unique atmosphere.
Right.
Informal, shared.
Absolutely. It really captured something. And while, drive-ins declined for a while, multiplexes, home video, our sources actually point out they've seen a bit of a comeback recently. Especially after the pandemic, people rediscovered them, shows they still have some appeal.
That revival is interesting. So an invention born from wanting to make someone comfortable ends up creating decades of memories. And it's still around.
It really shows that innovation isn't always about, super complex tech. Sometimes it's just finding a new way to experience something familiar, maybe more thoughtfully.
Okay, so let's try and pull the threads together from our source material. June 6th, we've got 1912, a massive volcanic eruption changing the land, affecting climate. June 6th, 1944, a world-altering military invasion, immense bravery, terrible loss. And June 6th, 1933. The invention of the drive-in movie theater, a new kind of simple, shared entertainment.
You have this geological force operating on its own timescale, then this enormous human conflict driven by urgent purpose, and then a small personal invention for comfort and fun. So different, yet all landing on June 6th across the years, across the globe.
It feels like what this stack of sources kind of pushes us towards is seeing June 6th not just as not just another date on the calendar, but maybe as a point where these wildly different parts of existence, nature's power, human conflict, simple everyday life and enjoyment, they all intersect through time.
Yeah, looking at them side by side like this, maybe the sources suggest history isn't just one straight line, it's layered, it's complex. Moments that shake the world happening, just a date away from innovations that just make life a little more enjoyable.
So we've covered the Earth's power with Novarupta, the massive human struggle and sacrifice of D-Day, and that simple, happy invention, the drive-in.
And thinking about these incredibly different things, all linked just by the date, and it does leave you with a question, doesn't it, for you listening? How does looking at history this way, focusing on one date across time instead of one event through time, how does that change how you think about history itself, about the human experience? Is it all connected or just random?
It definitely makes you wonder about other dates. What other surprising contrasts might be hiding there in the calendar if you started digging?
Exactly. There's always more to uncover.
Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more history daily.